ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to go ahead, make sure it's on, and review the KR Ripper Patton, M46 KR Ripper Patton. And pretty cool paint job on here. Looks like it's going to rip you out. Eyes up here. Eye out of the machine gun port. Pretty cool. So what do you get with the Ripper Patton? So you get 1,450 hit points for a tier 8. And this is a medium. So actually, that's on the higher end of the hit points, which is kind of nice. And they just did a buff to this on the last patch. And they toughened up the frontal of the turret armor. The gun mantle, I believe, is what they toughened up on it. And I'm not sure what else they did, but it was, I think, some buffs to the... I know they did it to the armor, but I think it was just the turret. I don't know... Or actually, I can't remember if they did much of anything else other than really the frontal armor. The gun stayed the same, and everything else pretty much stayed the same. But for 1,450 hit points, that's pretty good for a tier 8 medium. And so, on your hull armor, you have 101 in the front, 76 on the side, 50 in the rear. Pretty smooth looking tank. Turret armor, you now have 127. I think it was 111 previously. And they bumped it up to 127. On the side, you got 76. And on the back, you have 76. And let's go over the gun. So you get a 90 millimeter. Rate of fire is 7.41 rounds a minute. Average penetration is phenomenal at 192 for your standard, 243 for your premium, and you get APCR for your premium, and 45 for your HE. Average damage is your standard 240 for medium tier 8. For your standard and premium, around 240, 320 for your HE. Average damage per minute is 1778, and your dispersion is 0.38. Aim time is 2.5, so that's not the best in the world, but I think they might have buffed that up a little bit. I should have looked. I'm sorry, guys. So on mine, my rate of fire is 8.78 rounds a minute. My reload is 6.8 seconds. Traverse speed on the turret is 40.53, and on the hull is 40.53. So you don't have to really worry about getting circled by a light or another scout. You can keep up with them pretty good at that with the traverse speed. Gun depression is -10 and +20. Aim time on mine is 2.34. So even with a 100% and working on the first crew skill, they're at about 80-some%. The aim time is still not, super good. That's why I went with vertical stabilizers and vents. Vents and both these two help your aim time. This one basically just keeps your reticle smaller while you're moving, so when you come to a stop, it's already that much more, 20% more shrunk down to get to the full aimed in circle. And a gun land drive to help with the loading. Average damage per minute is 2107. Weight is 44.5 tons. So for a medium, yeah, if you ram into something, if it's another medium or a light, you'll do a good amount of damage to them. Probably can do some to yourself, obviously, but not a whole lot. Get a pretty good engine at 810 horsepower. Put your specific power to weight at 18.22, which is actually really good. Top speed is 48.3 in forward and 20 in reverse, and you'll get up to that 48.3 pretty quick, and you'll be able to maintain it pretty well too. Concealment is 12.4, which is pretty standard for a medium. View range is 417, which is actually really good. And your signal range is 795. So that is pretty much the stats on the KR Ripper Patton. Do I suggest getting it? Yeah, it's a cash register. You make a lot of credits off it. Even the match that you're going to watch, I ended up shooting a lot of premium rounds, and I still made over 70,000 credits. So, yeah, it's ching, ching, ching. Yeah, you'll make some good credits with it. I highly recommend getting it. Plus, it's got a good gun, good armor, good maneuverability. I mean, it's just all around a really good tank. So, yeah, if you can get your hands on it, plus it looks pretty cool. So, if you can get your hands on it, I definitely would try and snag one. So anyways, if you want to wait a minute, I'll have the replay for you in just a minute. And here we go with our match on Abby. Now, being a Tier 8 and a Tier 10 match, and they got some pretty hard-hitting Tier 10s. They got two Grill 15s, 268, 57 Heavy could clip me out. E50, which will pen me. WZ120, which will have no problem penning me. Skoda T50, which has 3 rounds, so it can mess you up pretty bad. My main concern was trying to light up anything going into that center Abbey. So I decided I'm going to shoot up that center road, see what I can light. They did toughen the turret up on this a little bit, so I figured, well, I'll get up there, see what I can light, and hopefully do my team good and get some stuff lit up there so they know what's going up there, track it, try and get some track damage or assisted damage from tracking them. And we had a light tank get up there, and he hadn't lit anything, but here comes a medium.
We didn't penetrate their armor.
I was able to take his track off and do a little bit of damage. Took another track off him, so I was trying to keep anything I could tracked here for whatever it was, you know, to do some damage to him. And I switched over to premium rounds because now I'm starting to shoot through turrets, and they were still able to get some tanks up there, but did what I could to help the light out that was up there. And that E50 just basically came up and just put a round right through my turret. You know, if it's a Tier 8 match, your turret's pretty strong, and you can, you know, withstand some rounds from tanks that are shooting at your turrets. But when you're in a Tier 10 match, most everything's going to pen you. I go around here, and I want this. I see the lightweight up there. I was able to take out, what was that? I think that was their 59. WZ120. I see this lightweight, and I think, I'm going to take him out. Well, needless to say, I wasn't even looking right here, and there was a Pershing sitting right there. But I was basically just tunneled right on this lightweight. To take a lightweight out is a good thing because they've got a good gun, decent armor, and so I got knocked out. That Pershing finally woke up. I don't know if he was AFK or just he didn't even know I was there. He might have been tunnel visioning down on the road there. So that was, excuse me, that helped me to be able to do enough damage and knock their lightweight out. So at least our artillery didn't have to worry about the lightweight harassing them. And, you know, I was able to take out their 120. I did some tracking. Got some tracking damage done from the vehicles that were coming up down this way. I tried helping out our, I think ours was a lightweight. No, WZ-132. I was hoping he was going to scoot out of there, you know, go out maybe the front way or that back door right over there, just to get out of there so that when those other tanks were getting up there, he would have been safe. But he waited around too long, tried going out the front way here, and he ended up getting knocked out. So I believe we went on to win this match, but I've got the results here. I'm sorry, I did the replay or the actual game a couple days ago, and I pulled it aside because I thought it was a pretty good replay for being a Tier 8 and a Tier 10 match, and you know, getting up here and tracking these guys and lighting them and whatnot. So anyways, I didn't do a super ton of damage, but, you know, it was just the position that I took up was pretty good. So, anyways, if you want to hold on a minute, I'll have the results of that match for you here in just a second. So, that's the results of that match. Actually had a really good match with the KR patton, the Ripper patton. That was a Class 1 Mastery badge. I thought I was going to get an ace tanker on that one, but a little bit more damage I think I would have. Fire for effect, spotter, and bruiser. The spot that I went to normally, and not in a million years would I go there with a Tier 8, but I looked and saw that they had a lot of lights and mediums, and I thought, hey, if I can get up there, knock their tracks off, excuse me, knock their tracks off, and the TDs are sitting behind me, and maybe some that got around on the hill there, we'll just sit there and put a hurting on them. And sure enough, they did. So I spotted their E50, their WZ120, their Skoda T50, their Pershing, and on their E50, I was able to, when I spotted them, they did 711 damage. And on the WC120, I spotted him. They did 663 damage. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like anybody, even though I had like 2 or 3 of them tracked in that little corner. No one were able to hit them for any damage in that area, I don't think. Total, yeah, that was from spotting. And that was from spotting. So, yeah, it didn't look like anybody was able to take advantage of me knocking the tracks off from there. But at first I loaded premium, switched over to standard, and I had to go back to premium because I wasn't penning E50. And I think I forgot to switch it back to standard, but it was fine because I wanted to make sure I penned that 54 lightweight up in the castle there and get him gone. So on the E50, I hit him for 1 shot of 231 damage and tracked him. WZ120 knocked out his fuel tank and track. 2 shots for 512 damage and killed him. The Scrotum T50 destroyed his track, or knocked out his track, did 262 damage. So I was getting some pretty good rolls too, which is nice. And the 54 lightweight, I destroyed his track, hit him 4 times for 812 damage and killed him. And we did a total of 1,817 damage, got 2 kills. My base experience was 1,101, which made me in first place. If you hit the little star, it takes you up there and shows you I was in first place with experience, which was nice considering our Kranwagen did 4,000, got 400s on the hundreds on the brain here. He did 4,185 damage, got 3 kills, and he only got 895 experience. So that was kind of nice that I got such a high experience with tier 8 and a tier 10 match doing that much damage and spotting and stuff. It shows the way it figures it out. It shows that you were really active in the game, and so you get compensated for it, which I did. I had 11 shots, 11 hits, 8 pens. So the gun on this is actually pretty darn accurate. 1,817 damage. I was hit 8 times, 6 pen, 2 bounce for 560 damage. I bounced. Spotted 4. Damage 4, destroyed 2. Damage caused with my assistance was 1,374. And I made 84,672 credits, but after they fixed my tank and resupplied it, I still made 71,452 credits. So yeah, that's a pretty good chunk of cash I made out of that match. So I was pretty happy with that. Oh, anyways, this is Tank and Trucker. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button down below. And if you would be ever so kind, you could subscribe to the channel and become part of the Tank and Trucker family. Now, you guys take it easy, be safe, and I will see you on the battlefield.